Hello, everyone, and welcome back for another episode of the Be More Successful Show. I'm your host, Leslie Hassler. I work with service-based businesses to get growth and scalability going in your business in a way that's profitable, that's actually easier to maintain than probably anything else you've been doing. And at the end is going to give you the ability to reach your goals, create financial legacy, and have more impact in the world. So one of the reasons that we come together twice a week is because our guiding kind of mission is to empower prosperity for all business owners. I do believe that that is possible even in today's time, perhaps even more so. I had breakfast with a friend of mine that I haven't seen in person in a really long time, and we were really talking about people's belief and what's possible right now and how that's shaping their futures. And so I hope that since you're watching this show and tuning in to me every week, that you believe that things are possible. So today we're talking about how to transform your business from being cash strapped to profit generating. And that's a really big key. And the silver lining, I suppose, of this whole topic today is that you can be profitable at any level of business, at any stage of business, even if things aren't working 110% in every little corner of your business, which they really rarely are, let's be honest. You can achieve this today. So that may be a belief that you have to work on, but I hope to help you with that today. And we're going to start off by really going, okay, so what does cash strapped mean? Because it doesn't mean broke, right? And there's, then business, I guess in consulting circles, I don't know, outside of consulting circles, but there's this term that we use called the valley of despair. And that valley of despair is created by waiting too long, by not taking action, even imperfect action, not getting help when you need help, just staying and allowing things to degrade over time, even though it's usually really interesting. So you either believe that it can't get better, so it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, or you believe that it's absolutely magically going to get better tomorrow, right? So what's the use in doing something today? Both of those beliefs don't serve you in not taking action today. So cash strapped is not about being at the bottom of the barrel. And I will say, I have worked with some businesses that are at the bottom of the barrel, and it's a 50-50. It's a 50-50 chance. We could do everything right, and we just don't have enough time to actually see those right strategies take hold and produce some results. So this isn't necessarily if you're there, right? Because you need some other more drastic things happening if that's your reality. I'm talking about cash strapped means that you have money coming into the business. There's money flowing into the business. It's just that it never seems to be enough. I would say if you're cash strapped, your state of being is personified by worry. Always worried about what happens if a client doesn't pay, what happens if the next fire problem that pops up in your business, you don't have the money to take care of it. What happens if you don't make payroll? What happens if, you can see you could what if yourself to death when you're in this cash strapped kind of, let's just say journey point in your business. Believe everyone is cash strapped at one point in time. It's just what you do. It's just a amount of what you do, what you learn, and how you prevent yourself from being cash strapped, or at least mitigate that risk in the future. So it puts you as the business owner in this rock and a hard spot, if you will, where you're constantly questioning, do I or do I not? Do I or do I not? And you have made decisions in faith, let's say, if decisions in faith that, they'll work out or they'll bear fruit or yada, 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 you know what they are, you've had them yourself. But they haven't always, and that's hurt a little, especially when you feel like, man, I just wasted that $5,000. I just wasted that $500, right? Wherever those things are. So it has you being very unsure about how to step forward. And so is this constant hesitation back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And you're probably at the end of the month going like, do I take payroll? Like, do I trust that there will be money in my business enough today or tomorrow, money in my business tomorrow, next month, to take payroll today? That's a huge decision that I see business owners making time and time again, especially if they're feeling cash strapped. The first thing to go tends to be the owner's payroll, which at times that might need to be the choice. I'm not going to negate that. But if it's a habit, we've got bigger problems. Okay. We have bigger problems. So we really want to talk about today, how are we going to transform? How are we going to transform from this cash strapped state of being into profit generating? And I've got three tips for you today. Now, I will say this is a process, guys. When I'm working in transforming a business from being cash strapped to profit generating, there's tends to be like phase approach. So we go for, the low hanging fruit immediately, things we can impact today. Then we generally have to work on things that our team is resistant about. Amazing how much team resistance plays into it. And then we work on client resistance, right? So that takes time to actually impact, but it's totally doable, totally achievable. And the first thing I want you to understand, the first thing I want you to do is understand what makes or breaks you when it comes to profitability. Now, I've done some profitability topics that I've gone a little deeper into things that impact profitability. So if you haven't seen those, I'd say go back out and go deeper into that. But it does come down to, you have to have the belief that profit is a choice, not a reward. I don't know, we have this business mythology. I think that's what we'll start calling it. This business mythology that says that profitability is a reward. Like when you get big enough, when you have enough clients, when you get that nice big juicy one, that's when profitability comes in, and you shouldn't expect it. You just don't expect to be profitable your first year of business, honey. I'm just going to tell you. That's part of that mythology that really does not serve a business owner. Especially in service-based businesses, you need to be profitable as quickly as you can be. That's your test. That's your litmus test. Does your model work? Will this business work? Or is it going to be a struggle and a fight every single time? So understand what it is that is making or breaking your profitability. It was interesting. I did a talk for a group of women business owners at the end of August, and it was on cash flow. And so I brought up this concept of profitability, especially for service-based businesses, and what are all the things that impact them. And at the end of it, when they were sharing with me like what their big aha moments were, this one woman said, I actually had given up on profitability because of the pandemic and the economic climate right now. She goes, after this, I understood that actually I should have doubled down on it. And that is so extremely true, because think about this, guys, when you double down on profitability, if you're losing in revenue, like you're losing incoming business for whatever reason, and a lot of people are, my clients have seen anywhere, initially it was pretty drastic, like most people are. I think at the end of the year, we're going to have businesses that are flat, and then businesses that maybe have lost 25 or 30% of their business. When you lose that significant amount of business, if you're not profitable at the bottom line at any number, and you've made the checks to be profitable, you're going to eventually go into that valley of despair, and you're going to run out of time. We don't know, it's interesting. People are confusing two things. So there's the recovery from the pandemic, right? And then there's the economic recovery associated with the pandemic. And that timeline is getting pushed out, right? So you can't really, do you think you can wait 2 years? I don't know. I don't know a whole lot of businesses that were so fat and happy before that they can wait 2 years. So this is something you need to double down on right now, okay, and have that intention. 2, my favorite phrase in the world. If you're going to expect something different from your business, you're going to need to do something different enough. Not just a little different, like radically different, in order to get a different result. Now, here's the really interesting thing about radical difference. It is energizing and it is motivating, and it has a better chance of rallying the troops when done well. There's a whole process. When done well, to actually see gains. And even if your radical difference has a very short lifespan, let's just say it only has a 2-year lifespan. Who cares? Who cares? It's like, hallelujah, right? That was the bridge you had to build to get you from where you are today to where you want to be in a year or 2 years. I honestly don't think you should wait 2 years. I think you need to have like, okay, next year's our comeback year. The year after that is our stretch year, right? That's really and truly where I think your mindset should be. But understand that if you get locked into this cash-strapped kind of mode, this being stuck in a rock and a hard spot, it's a downward spiral. So there are 2 spirals in businesses. There's the spirals that go up and the spirals that come down. And momentum works in interesting ways, both. So wherever your momentum is going, that is the easiest way for you to proceed. So when you stay in this cash-strapped moment, okay, imagine like you're driving a car and you're having to stop it by just human force. You know it's going to take a little effort to stop that car in order to get it to go into a different direction. The same thing with your business. Your business has a momentum. Is it momentumly going downward, or is it momentumly going upward? Wherever you are, continuing that momentum is the easiest thing going, which is why it feels comfortable after a while. But if you want to shift, like if you're in this downward spiral, you're going to have to do something to shift enough and to get momentum going, because that is the hardest part of it all, is that initial inertia and getting it back into a positive momentum. It's not impossible by any means. It just takes a lot more focus and effort, more difference, a greater difference of action to actually see that momentum start going in the direction that you want it to do. So if you want something different from your business, you're going to have to do something different enough to get that result. Okay, so that was tip number 2. Tip number 3 is be uncommon. Be a little weird. And I say be uncommon because if you buy into the business mythology that's out there that gets spewed and regurgitated to each other, then you're just like everyone else, right? You're common. When you're uncommon, these are the people that you're looking around right now who are doing really interestingly well, even if their industry is not. And you're like, what are they smoking? Like, what drink are they drinking? Because I need some of that. I'm going to tell you it's because they're being uncommon. They were uncommon in their management of their business up to this point, and it's paying off. So there's been a lot of shows that I've done this, but let's just go through some of the uncommon things to do, right? Is number 1, get intimate with your money. Like, know what it is doing. I just recorded our lesson on predictive cash flows and what programs can help you do that and how to use them to manage your business, and also how to use them along with things like a profit plan to grow your reserves. Because your reserves really are those things that buy time. And when you have time, right, you can take action. You're not sunk in the valley of despair. You might be level, right? But you've got the time to do this, to rework on the things that you need to do to take you to the next level. But you're going to have to get past I'm not good at numbers. Well, you actually are good at numbers. This is what's really funny is I find that the people that tell me that they're not good at numbers are actually very amazing at numbers. It's just that they're not comfortable with it. And you're not comfortable with it because it's not an intention. So be intimate with your money. Have things like a reserve being built, even in times of today, right? You should, if you're profitable enough, then you're able to generate reserves. And you've got to pay into those reserves, a little bit every time, all the time. And that's how it builds up to be something substantial and your safety net for when things go a little crazy, because that's what happens in our world today. So you've got to get to the point of enough is enough, right? Somebody was asking me, I told them, shared what I did, and they go, "Oh my God, so many people need you. Why aren't they just jumping on?" I said, because they haven't gotten to the point of enough is enough. Like, they haven't gotten to their line in the sand, come to Jesus moment with themselves to say, I've got to do something different, and it's got to be radically different so that I can have all the things that I deserve and that I dream of in my business. So if today's topic hit home for you, that you found even the minutest value in what I shared today, please share this with your friends and your community. That's really how it gets out to the people that need to see it the most. And like always, come back on Thursday where we'll have another episode of the Be More Successful Show. If I can be of help, ask me some questions. I'm always happy to take them. Or who knows, you might inspire the next episode on the Be More Successful Show. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you're doing well. And until Thursday, I will be talking with you soon. Bye.